In this video, I'm going to give you my predictions for the 2024 Brantford real estate market. This information is going to be extremely valuable to you if you're thinking about making a purchase, a sale, an investment decision, or you're just interested in what's going on with the value of your home. Now, stay tuned for the entire video because after I give my big 5 predictions, I'm also going to lay out some very specific advice if you're considering buying a home, selling a home, or making an investment purchase this year. My name's Jeff Thibodeau. I'm a real estate broker right here in my hometown of Brantford, Ontario, and I've been helping people just like you make smart real estate decisions for over 15 years. If you require any help with making your next real estate decision, all my contact information is in the video below. You can reach out to me through text, email, WhatsApp, leave a comment here. It doesn't really matter, but just hit me up. I want to say thanks for tuning into this video, and if the video brings you any value at all, please just take 1 second and hit that like button. It really does help me out and shows me that you guys like the videos I'm creating. And if you're enjoying content like this, take a minute to hit the subscribe button so that way, as I make my future videos, which I post 1 a week here on the Brantford real estate market, all those videos show up right on your home feed and you never have to go searching for them. Okay, here are my 5 predictions for the Brantford real estate market in 2024. Now, it's important to remember that nobody has a crystal ball. What we do to create these real estate predictions is we look at the data. So I've been analyzing the data for 15 years, my entire career. I look into it every week, follow the trends, make all my own charts and graphs. In addition to that, I also follow the top news agencies, economists who have their finger dialed into the pulse of the market. And I also listen to the real buyers and sellers and clients out there in the marketplace. So I collect all this information together to make these predictions. That being said, these predictions are broad in scale. So when it comes down to your specific situation, we have to take into account your goals, your needs, and the exact property that you're thinking about buying and selling. So always reach out for specific advice for your situation. Okay, prediction number 1, interest rates will be going down this year. Since March of 2022, interest rates have been on the rise as the Bank of Canada is trying to combat inflation and bring it back down to its target of 2%. Now, that cycle looks like it's at its end, and the next logical move would be for those rates to start coming back down. Almost all economists are betting on rates coming down this year. The real question just is when and how much. It's probably a safe bet to assume that in the early part of the year, we see another few announcements of rate holds. And then in the middle to end of the year, we start seeing the variable rates start to come down. Now, the fixed rates are much more aligned with bond yields than they are with the Bank of Canada decision on their policy rate. And we're already seeing bond yields start to fall. They actually peaked back in October and they've been falling ever since. And we're seeing that start to translate into lower fixed interest mortgage, both on 3-year products and 5-year products. So it's a safe bet to assume that when we finish the year in 2024, the cost of borrowing is going to be much lower than where we're starting this year. Okay, prediction number 2 is that buyers will be returning to the market this year. The number of homes sold in 2022 and 2023 were the 2 lowest years in the past 10 years. Now, that's because of this high interest rate environment, the high price of homes, and also the uncertainty in the overall economy. When you combine those things together, you get a lot of buyers who want to transact, but are deciding to sit on the sidelines. Currently, home prices have declined back to 2021 levels, and we've had 4 consecutive Bank of Canada rate holds. This is giving people a lot of confidence that now might be the time to hop back into the market. What I know from talking to people is the desire to become a homeowner or the desire to get into that next bigger, nicer home hasn't gone anywhere. All that's happened is the economic conditions that support making that transaction have been really tight for the last 2 years. So what happens is we have all this pent up demand where people still want to buy that home. They still want to move up to that bigger home. They just haven't been able to in the last couple of years. So as we look at prediction number 1 and combine it with prediction number 2, as those costs of borrowing factors come down, as people are more confident that their job is secure and the economy is looking okay for 2024, you'll see a lot of these buyers move back into the market. And my prediction is that the 2024 demand numbers are higher than they have been in the past 2 years. Prediction number 3 is home prices will finish the year higher than they are right now. Now, when you combine the first factor of rates going down and the second factor of pent-up demand with buyers coming back into the market, what we end up with is a situation where our imbalance between supply and demand continues to grow. Last spring, we saw many buyers return to the market early in the year, and it pushed prices back up even without any rate changes. And I expect that same thing to happen early this year as the spring market starts with low inventory but high pent-up buyer demand. Combine that with potential rate decreases in the mid to end of the year, and we'll see everyone's purchasing power increase, and you'll see that reflected almost immediately in the demand for homes and the ability to make stronger offers. Now, I do expect that the lower priced homes will feel this effect much more strongly than the higher priced homes. There's many more buyers competing for homes in the $400,000, $500,000, $600,000 range than there is in the $1 million+ range. And also, the higher the price goes up, the more you're affected by these interest rates. So expect competition to be very strong and prices to escalate in the lower price points, while homes potentially over $1 million and above, they might still be particularly stuck in a buyer's market for most of the year. Prediction number 4 is that sellers are still going to have to work hard to compete against each other if they want to get the top price for their home and get their home sold quickly. In the 2 crazy years of the pandemic, the inventory was so low and the demand was so high that sellers could basically throw their house on the market in almost any condition, do minimal marketing, almost no staging, throw any price on it, and there would still be a lineup of buyers willing to write offers on that home. Well, those conditions have changed significantly. And we look at this stat called the month supply of homes, and this tells us how much more inventory there is than there are transactions happening. And we expect this year that number to float between about 2.5 and 3.5, meaning that there'll be 2.5 times to 3.5 times more homes for sale at any given time than sell in a single month. So that means the majority of home sellers won't get an offer every month. And so as a home seller, you need to look at your neighbors, the other homes up for sale, as your competition, and do a lot of work to position your home very strongly if you want to be the one that gets that home sold quick. This isn't rocket science. It's just back to basics. It means making all those repairs and minor upgrades to the home before getting on the market, potentially doing some home staging and decor items, really aggressive and modern marketing, including photography, videography, and the ways we get those ads out there to the public. And the most important of all, the foundation of real estate, is getting the right asking price on it so the home looks very attractive out there in the marketplace. If you nail those 4 things, your home will be sold. If you miss the mark on any one of them, you could be the house that sits on the market month after month after month. Okay, prediction number 5 is that the supply-demand imbalance will not be resolved in 2024. There are just not enough homes for the number of people that want to move to Brantford, want to buy their first home in Brantford, and that extends beyond Brantford to all the towns of Southern Ontario. You're going to see lots of announcements from municipalities, provincial and federal governments about plans to build more housing, but the problem is those announcements take a long time to translate into actual homes that can be occupied by people. In addition, many builders that had projects on the go, they've decided to slow those projects down or even put those projects on pause because the economic environment over the last 2 years has not made it make sense for them to actually sell and build these units. Now, what's most needed is affordable homes, and that's probably going to come in the form of rental apartment buildings. I can tell you with experience working with builders and developers that there is just as much red tape going on right now as there's ever been in terms of getting those projects started, getting land rezoned. So I don't see that speeding up this year amongst all the talk that that's what everyone's intentions are to do. So we expect it to be many years before any correction to the supply side happens. And really what we're seeing is still immense pressure on the housing market that's only being held back right now due to the high interest rate environment. So compared to the really crazy seller-focused years of 2020 and 2021, and then the wild erratic years with the high interest rates of 2022 and 2023, we expect that 2024 will be a back to basics, much more calm, predictable year. We'll call it a balanced real estate market, even though the conditions are still, historically in favor of the sellers. Just coming off those hot years, it feels like it's a little more balanced, even though mathematically the numbers tell us it's still a seller's market. Things will continue to improve and become more high demand as borrowing costs come down and more buyers enter into the market. And it means that both on the buying and the selling side, you need to have great advice and a great plan to get your goals achieved. So next, I want to give you some very specific advice if you are planning a transaction this year, whether you're a buyer, seller, or an investor. But first, I want to remind you, if you've made it this far, thank you. Make sure you hit that like button if you haven't, And also make sure you subscribe to the channel so you get these videos in your home feed as I create a new one every week to keep you up to date on the Brantford real estate market. Okay, some quick advice for home buyers. Number one is you want to get your pre-approvals and the financial side of your transaction all sorted out before you're out there shopping. The market is still moving pretty quick and the best properties are selling potentially with multiple offers. So there's not going to be a whole lot of time to get your paperwork in order once you find the one you want to buy. The great part is you can lock in a rate hold at today's current interest rates, get your pre-approval in place, and if the rates come down while you're still shopping, you can just renew that rate hold. So there really is no downside to getting everything tightened up and ready to go. Second piece of advice here is be ready to act quick. Right now, there is still a lot of an old, stale inventory left over from last year. There's a lot of sellers who are not doing a great job in marketing their homes and overpricing them. And so it can feel like the market's moving slow, but what you have to watch for is those brand new listings are getting a lot of attention and they will continue to throughout the year. So those listings are going to be moving quickly. And if you see one come up on the market, you want to get out there and see it, within a day or two. Don't be thinking, oh, I can wait next weekend for an open house. You want to book a private appointment and potentially be ready to make a decision and make an offer. On the flip side of that, if you do want to go deal hunting, it is a great time to look at these houses that have been on the market since last year. They've potentially gone through a couple different price changes and other buyers are not really looking for them. There are still deals to be had, but it's going to take a little bit of digging and negotiation. On the seller side, we kind of covered it up there earlier in my predictions, but I'm just going to reiterate, it's key to do it right the first time. You want to have a plan to bring your home to market. Don't rush yourself and just throw a sign in the yard and get it up for sale. Want to make sure we present your home in the best way possible. That means repairs, upgrades, decor changes, home staging, marketing, and the perfect asking price. You put all that together for the first weekend and you will get your home sold. If we get a little lazy on any of these items, you could find yourself sitting wondering, why isn't anyone coming to see my home and why isn't anyone making me an offer? Now, some advice for investors. It has been a kind of rocky couple years for investors who have been cash pinched with borrowing rates going up, making cash flowing properties harder and harder to find. Well, the good news is that rents are still sky high and the demand for rentals in our city is still at massively high levels. So if you can make the numbers work all the way from small, condo units up to larger detached homes, there is a very active rental market, and this could be a great time to acquire a property with the potential to refinance it as rates come down. As rates do come down, all the investors are going to have more money to play with too, so that will put more pressure back up on the investment market. The other thing we're seeing is the gap is opening back up for potential flip and renovation projects again. Those were slowed down. Obviously they were very fast moving during the hot years, but this could be the time of year where you do find and pick up a deal and be ready to have it, completed and on the market as the market improves later this year. So there's some specific advice, but again, your situation is very important. So when it comes down to your transaction, we want to look at your goals and the exact type of house and price range and everything that you're going after. So feel free to reach out to me directly in the comments below. Thank you for watching this video. I look forward to bringing you lots more quality content all year. Please hit that like and subscribe and check out this video next.